Hello, my name is Kimberlynn Bryce Bradley, and I'm a senior child development major working to obtain my birth to kindergarten license to teach in North Carolina. The title of my research project is Stress and Burnout Among Educators Related to COVID-19. When COVID caught the attention of the world 2 years ago, education was one of the most affected industries. School teachers, who were rightfully deemed essential workers, felt tremendous effects from the changes related to COVID. With only a moment's notice, educators from preschool to university level had to rethink their instruction methods and restructure them to be done from a distance instead of in the classroom. As a current student training for a career in education, I'm in a unique position to see things from both perspectives. I'm interested in how this period of change has affected the mental health of educators. Teachers all over the world had to move to a different setting, a new way of educating and learning with their students. This was needed in order to keep students, teachers, and families safe. Making the most of the very challenging times, teachers found creative ways to embrace all that learning had to offer. Stress was a factor before the pandemic and still is a prominent feeling. Mental health makes up a person's social, emotional, and psychological state of mind. The way a person makes decisions, interacts with others, and the way they handle their emotions are all tied together by mental health. The mental health of teachers is important for their own personal well-being, along with how it affects their ability to teach their students. Stress occurs when someone feels they are having a difficult time handling their mental or emotional state. The work environment, expectations from others, relationships, and life experiences are all things that cause stress. Extreme levels of stress may lead to burnout. Teaching is a high contender for being one of the most stressful careers. This stress is often very demanding, physically and mentally. A teacher can love his or her career and still have it as a source of stress. No matter if it is the best or worst part of their day, often teachers have a challenge separating their work life from their home life. Teaching is not a job that you can leave inside the walls of a school building. The stress of a teacher comes in many areas. Only a small part is related to actually teaching the material to their students. Teachers who feel that they do not have a good grip on their mental health feel stressed and could be experiencing burnout. Burnout is the physical or mental state of someone who is under intense stress, which results in a lack of compassion or feeling of losing the ability to manage one's environment. The topic of mental health, stress, and burnout in teachers has never been more prevalent than in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic. This deadly disease is killing the desire to teach for many in this field. Teachers had only moments to adapt their curriculum, materials, activities, and styles of teaching to be virtual. Like everyone else in the world, teachers felt rattled by this new way of completing their work. COVID-19's effects on school systems has left teachers of all grade levels and years of experience feeling the lack of compassion, preparedness, and patience for their careers. Despite the knowledge or comfortability, not only were teachers expected to adapt their curriculum and teaching methods to online learning, but they were also expected to teach the parents and students how to navigate it. Although It was expected of teachers to step up and fully take on their title of educator. It was more than a challenge to teach students how to use this online classroom site because of the limited or absent resources needed to complete this kind of learning. In this time, having a computer with quality internet was a basic need, like having food and shelter. But just like those necessities, not everyone has the luxury of having those critical technology resources. Going into the field of education, it is important for me to make connections with seasoned teachers around me. Having these connections will allow me to gain wisdom from those who have gone before me. Hearing about their best moments and how they overcome challenges that come with each school year. I do not know of any school year that has brought along as many new challenges and learning opportunities as the 2020-2021 school year. In an effort to research those challenges and opportunities, as well as stress and burnout among education professionals, during the COVID-19 pandemic, I conducted a survey. The purpose of this survey was to examine the impact of having to use alternative teaching strategies on teachers' mental health. This study also explores the alternative teaching strategies that educators were required and/or chose to use as a result of the pandemic. In addition, this study examines how COVID-19 and the new teaching conditions and environments affected the mental health of teachers. After completing the literature review on stress and mental health of education professionals, I identified several topics of interest that I wish to pursue further investigation. The following research questions were developed and used for this study. Research question 1. What alternative teaching strategies were you required to use as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic? Question 2. What alternative teaching strategies did you choose to use as a result of the pandemic? Research question 3. How would you describe your mental health during the COVID-19 pandemic? Research question 4. How did the use of alternative teaching strategies affect your mental health? I conducted a survey to examine the challenges, stress, and burnout among education professionals and the effects on teacher mental health. In order to collect information for this study, an anonymous electronic survey through Google Forms was used to gather honest answers from the preschool teachers through college professors while protecting the privacy of the participants. Participants were selected by collecting names and email addresses from educators that either had past educational experiences during my placements through Meredith College. Efforts were made to include education professionals at every level from preschool through college. Efforts were also made to include education professionals from public, private, and charter schools, as well as public and private preschools, colleges, and universities. 65 education professionals were contacted, and I received responses from 55 of them. The respondents consisted of 1 preschool teacher, 6 kindergarten teachers, 13 elementary teachers, 7 middle school teachers, 17 high school teachers, 2 administrators, 6 college or community college instructors, and 1 speech therapist. Participants were contacted by email and only asked to complete the Google form and submit it within 2 weeks. A reminder email to complete the survey was sent after 1 week. Survey answers were submitted through Google Forms, and the data are stored in a password-protected electronic format. Results were not surprising in that the majority of educators preferred in-person learning. 50% of the respondents, 50 of the respondents, which is 89%, reported that they preferred in-person engagement, while 6 respondents, 10% of them preferred virtual learning. Thirty-three of the respondents, which is 61%, reported that they felt somewhat prepared for virtual learning, while 7 respondents, which is 13%, reported feeling very unprepared. When asked about their stress level from 1 to 5, with 5 being the highest and 10 respondents, which is 18%, reported a level 3 stress. 28 respondents, which is 51%, reported level 4 stress, and 13 respondents with 23% reported level 5 stress. A variety of challenges were expressed in regards to virtual learning. Educators spoke of difficulty in building and maintaining relationships with their students. They reported problems with consistent internet access for themselves and their students, as well as other issues with technology. Some stated that it was difficult to organize virtual learning and to teach in a hybrid manner. Teachers also reported challenges in working with individuals or small groups. When asked about the impact of COVID-19 on their passion for teaching, the respondents were varied. Educators reported feeling overwhelmed and challenged by their changed roles. The increased tasks, duties, and procedure took a toll on many, leaving them feeling worn out, drained, and exhausted. Others were concerned about effects of the pandemic on students' success and lives. Teachers reported feeling a loss of connection and rapport with their students. Several mentioned that the many challenges and added responsibilities affected their passion for teaching. On a positive note, many respondents reported that their passion for teaching had not changed. They still love teaching and interacting with their students in any format. A few educators mentioned that returning to the classroom made them appreciative of their role. Technology skills for both staff and students were also noted as improved after virtual and or hybrid learning. Reflecting on all I have researched and the real life experiences of the teachers that participated in my survey, I have gained valuable insight into their new normal. The specific job titles of the respondents vary, but their input was valuable in helping to understand their experiences of teaching during the global pandemic. The literature aligns with the survey results. Many teachers are very stressed and burned out from virtual learning. This is not a surprise. However, many of the educators discussed ways they were encouraged with their own resilience and determination to push through this new unknown territory. Many shared in the survey, as was found in the literature, that there are many highs and lows of teaching, with COVID-19 being one of the lowest points that affected all teachers in some way. Yet, They still showed up every day, not because they have to, but because they care so deeply about their students. From this research, I have learned about the importance of mental health. I have learned that a person's mindset can truly help a terrible situation be turned into a tolerable one. I learned that no matter which approaches or interventions are tried, sometimes the expectations placed on teachers are too much for some to bear. I learned about the difference it makes to have a supportive community consisting of teachers, students, parents, coworkers, and administrators. These relationships often make or break a teacher's experience. Looking forward to anticipate future implications, these research findings will hopefully be eye-opening for those who make decisions that affect teachers. Teachers need support in all areas, including mental health. That support, or lack thereof, will impact teachers and students for years to come. Thank you for your time and interest in this important topic.